Brilliance Audio presents Things I'll Never Forget, Memories of a Marine in Viet Nam, by James M. Dixon, performed by Malcolm Hilgartner. Isn't it funny how a song on the radio can bring back memories? You'll hear the music and instantly be taken back to a different time and place. Perhaps it's summertime, and you remember riding down the highway listening to that song. Or perhaps you'll remember that special person you had a crush on and how you danced to that song one winter night. I don't know about you, but the weather can also bring back memories for me just like a song on the radio. Yesterday was the first day of summer, not by the calendar but by the temperature. It was that first sunny, hot day when only shorts and a t-shirt felt comfortable and only a cold glass of iced tea would do. Standing outside on my deck, I was taken back to the first hot day in 1965, when I announced to my family that I had joined the Marine Corps. It was dinner time, and we were all seated around the kitchen table. I'll never forget how my mother dropped her coffee cup and teared up. She left the table, went to the kitchen sink, and began to sob. She knew I would be going to Viet Nam. My two younger brothers stared down at their plates and then peeked up at my father to gauge his reaction. There was silence around the table, and then he spoke. "It'll be a good experience for you." In 1965, the war in Vietnam was growing bigger every day. The United States had a military draft, and our government was pulling more and more guys each day into the Army. As I approached high school graduation, my options were limited. I only knew three things. First, I didn't want to go to college because I didn't think I was smart enough, and even if I had gone to college, there was not enough money to live on campus. Second, I was never going to get married. My mother and father had been fighting for years. I don't know which was growing faster, the war in Vietnam or the arguments at my house. Many a night my brothers and I couldn't sleep for the shouting and screaming, and there was no way I would live in that house a day longer than necessary. I wanted out. I loved both my mother and my father, and although the fights were loud, they were never violent. My parents were as opposite as any two human beings could be, and they never should have gotten married in the first place. They realized the marriage was not working, but decided to stay together for the kids' sake. That's something I would not recommend to any couple. The third thing I knew was that I wanted a job and to be on my own. I could picture myself sharing an apartment with a buddy, working some manual labor job, and then waiting to figure out what life had in store for me. I really didn't have any idea what career I wanted. The problem was no one, and I mean no one, would hire me. You see, with the draft and being 18, employers just laughed at me. Seriously, they laughed in my face. I had applied for work at every grocery store and every manual job I could think of. Whenever I even asked for a job application, employers would ask if I was a 4F. When I would answer no, they would laugh and not even give me an application. No sense wasting paper on someone who would be drafted into the Army in a matter of weeks. After receiving that draft notice, there were 4 options for getting out of the draft, the Army, and being sent to Vietnam. First, enrolling in college could mean a college deferment. And believe me, lots of guys went to college just to get out of the draft. Second option was failing the physical. Between 1953 and 1963, when the country was not at war, the Army would declare guys 4F if they had flat feet, poor eyesight, asthma, were obese, or suffered some other physical ailment. With the war in Vietnam growing, the Army began taking virtually anyone who could walk and do a push-up, and they weren't too particular about the push-up. The third option was to become a 4D, a dirty damn draft dodger, and run and hide in Canada. I never considered myself a hero, but 4D seemed like a coward's way out. Of course, the fourth option was to join the Air Force, the Navy, or the Coast Guard, all of which had a waiting list to join. I had run out of options.